Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Audrey Shoemaker. I am one of the librarians at Walter State and I am your librarian for your history classes. This video is for Mr. Fincher's early US, modern US, and modern world history classes. And what we're going to do is just walk through how to access the databases to do your research. So follow along with me as I do this, and just be aware that you can contact me through either my email, which is over here on this page. I'll show you how to get here in a minute, right here. Or I am also in your eLearn class list, so you can send me a message through eLearn as well, and I'll respond as quickly as possible and get you going on the right track. The page that I am on is Mr. Fincher's Library Guide to Research. It is library.ws.edu/Fincher History. So log into that web address and you should be able to see this research guide that I've created for you all. For the paper, you are required to have secondary sources and it is optional for you to find primary sources. Today we're going to focus on secondary sources because we find those through the databases. So in the guide, I'm on the front page right here, you can go to Finding Secondary Sources. The resources that are most likely to help you in this paper, we're going to start with books, full-length books, and then I will also show you how to find academic journal articles as well. So as you're in the guide, scroll over Finding Secondary Sources and click on Books/Academic Monographs. You may be used to reference resources, something like a World Book Encyclopedia where you find your information about historical events. However, those are reference resources. They're not in-depth analysis of historical events. So we're wanting you to find books about your topic, and we call these academic monograph. An academic monograph is a single volume, so one book. It's not a big set of them. It's published by an academic publisher, so it's not like Penguin. It's more likely to be like University of Texas has published it. It's written by an expert, so usually someone who's employed as a professor at a university. It's a highly specialized topic, so you're not looking for a book that just discusses all of U.S. history. We're much more likely to find a book that discusses how they grew rice in South Carolina before the Civil War. And it has an academic audience. It is not written for the general public. So we're going to look at a couple places you can find those today. The best place for you to look, especially now that the campus is closed, is to scroll down in this tab, the Academic Monographs tab right here. Scroll down in this tab and go to the ebook database. When you get here, you will need to log in with your eLearn username and password, so I will do that just now. Once you're logged in, you'll see a screen like this. You'll notice it doesn't look like Google and it doesn't look like some kind of friendly search engine. When we search in a database, we're searching a finite collection of materials. So we're not searching the internet at large, we're only searching things that have been put into the database. So a single collection, think of it like a file cabinet. When we put things into the database, we organize them very carefully. We tag them, almost like hashtags on Instagram, with things like the title and subject terms, which would be the things that the book is about, and also with the author and the date of publication. And those terms are what we search to try to find things in the database that are similar to our search terms. So, for instance, on Instagram, if I wanted to find all the cat pictures, then I might search hashtag cats of Instagram. In a database, if you want to find all the books about a specific topic, you need to search that subject term. So I think what I'm going to try to do here is a search for information about the Haitian Revolution. My N sticks on my keyboard. A couple things about searching in the database. If you've searched in an article database before, you may have tried to do more specific search terms or more than one search term, and that's fine to try. But in terms of this database is full-length books, so I often find it serves me better to try to start with a broader search topic. Additionally, you'll find that I put quotation marks around the words Haitian Revolution. That's because I'm telling the database to find those words together. Otherwise, I will find books about things from Haiti and also books about revolutions. So those quotation marks tie them together. It's very important to spell correctly. It is not, however, very important to capitalize. The database does that, so that's why I've got that squiggly red line under Haitian. It's not spelled incorrectly, but it is not capitalized correctly. Click search. The database has hundreds of thousands of books in it, but it tells me that 35 books discuss the Haitian Revolution in some way or another. So I'm going to scroll through here a little bit and see what I've got. Interestingly, I've got a video in here as well. Okay. So I've got a few different things here. The first couple books look like they are, this one is literary criticism, so this is probably analysis of people's writings about the Haitian Revolution. So it's not necessarily history. In some ways it might work as a primary source if there's something in there that was written during the revolution or right afterwards, but for the most part that's probably not a history book. This one right here, this one looks like a history book. It's going to discuss law. I'm coming down here to the subject terms and it kind of helps me understand what those terms are for the book. So it's probably a legal discussion of the Haitian Revolution. This one right here would be history after the Haitian Revolution, so how it affected Haiti. This one right here is actually fiction. I can see that it says it's a novel, so more than likely this is not a reliable resource for me because it's a fictional work, not nonfiction. And then there's some other things I have in here, most of which look like they are history books. And this right here, this is a primary source. This is the memoir of Toussaint Louverture, who was a leader during the revolution. So I have quite a few things in here as well. All right, this one looks like a really good resource. I'm going to open this up and show you how to access it. Eventually. Alright, so the important things to notice on here. This is a description of the book, kind of something like an abstract for an article. If I scroll down here, I will see the table of contents, so it is going to show me all the titles of the chapters. One thing that I find really helpful is going through the titles of chapters to help me figure out what the sections of my papers should be, so that might be really useful. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up here, and I want to access the book. To do that, I go up here to PDF Full Text. Now the book displays almost like it's in an e-reader, and I can scroll my way through it right here once it's loaded. On the left-hand side, I have the different chapters, and I can go directly to them. So let's say I want to go to the yellow fever epidemic. Or I want to go to the Maroon Uprising. I can go to individual chapters that way. And if I think that an individual chapter is going to be the most useful part of this book for me, that's a totally reasonable way to try to crack this book open. What I don't probably want to do is try to read the entire book in the e-reader. Another tool that's really useful is if I go up here to search within, I can find individual words within this book. So if I wanted to find stuff about yellow fever, what I would do is use my quotation marks again, because otherwise I'm going to get every page that has the word yellow and every page that has the word fever. And it will show me the 73 pages where that showed up. I saw another name here. I want to find out every page where Leclerc is mentioned, and it looks like it's mentioned a lot in here. That may not be the most useful way for me to do this. Let's look for information about the Constitution. Search within, up here. right? It's mentioned on 97 pages. Now, some of these, you'll notice there's a lot of like numbers and stuff right here. That means it's in a note or like in a citation. But if I scroll through here and I see them part of a full sentence and I click on that, that will take me directly to that page. If I find a section that's really useful, I can do a few things. I can save pages. I can save up to 100 non-continuous pages of this book. So I can save 10 pages here and 20 pages later. I can get this page and the next 10 pages if I want, or I can download this whole paragraph. I always recommend students go ahead and save it as a PDF somewhere so that they have access to it without an internet connection. Additionally, I can go up here and email pages to myself. So if you're sure of your internet connection, that's a really great way to do this. Go ahead and change your citation style to whichever style is necessary. Over here, you can choose MLA, APA, or Chicago, depending on what you're using, and it will send that with the email. And then lastly, I can use the Cite tool to go ahead and get that citation and save it somewhere for myself. So if I'm choosing APA, I can grab that citation, Control C, and add it to a working Word document. When I do that, I'm going to right click and use merge formatting so I don't lose things like italics and stuff like that. If I just do Control C, get some weird background colors, things like that. See how it's like a gray background right there? We don't want that, so we want to make sure we do that merge formatting thing. All right, so that's the ebook database, and that's where you can find full-length books about your topic. It might be a really good place to go in, find out what types of topics are available for the subject you've chosen to research. Very quickly, I also want to show you the academic journal database, so please go to Secondary Sources, Academic Journal Articles. An academic journal article tends to be far more specific than an ebook does. So I'm going down to the second resource right here, Finding Scholarly Articles in Academic Search Premier. And this looks very similar to the ebook database. So I'm going to use my same search terms I did before. And again, what we'll be finding in this database are very specific articles about our broad topic that we're searching. So I found 234 results in Academic Search Premier, most of which are probably history articles, but some of which may not be. This one is actually like a teaching history article, so we want to be careful as we're looking through those. We want to make sure that we're sticking with academic journals. If we find that we're getting lots of results that are not, and I'm seeing there are reviews and magazines and newspapers over here, I'm going to click on academic journals only, so I'm only getting those academic journals. You are really only allowed to use academic journal articles for your research paper, so go ahead and do that step anyway. Now I've kind of narrowed it down to the 111 academic journal articles about my topic. All right, I'm going to open this one up right here. And you'll notice it displays kind of similarly to the other database. There is no search within tool here because each article is, of course, only like 15 to 35 pages long usually. But my tools as far as using the article are all the same. If I scroll around, I'll still get my download button. Again, I say go ahead and download the whole thing if you think you might use it. It's much better to have too many things saved than to not have enough things to use when you go to do your writing. You can email the article to yourself just like before. Make sure you change it to whatever citation style you're using. And you can find the citation right here. So let me go ahead and grab that again and I'll show you what that looks like. Control C, open up my paper, and add it here using the merge formatting tool. Now if this was my page, of course I would want to go ahead, double spacing, don't add spaces, change my indentation style to hanging, and I would be working on my list of citations there. All right, those are the two databases you might want to start with on your research project. Good luck, and please don't hesitate to contact me as you're working on your paper.